Hello friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. I am Jenny and welcome to this week's nursery tour. We are going to take a little cruise through the nursery to see what is growing, blooming, and thriving. And while we do that, I am going to give you some updates on projects that we have been working on and that you have kind of come along with us for the ride. We are standing here in the trial gardens. We got all the beds formed and made. We're standing here in front of the rose garden. The rose garden it is the only thing that has left to be done is to have its final mulch, and then I need to label all of the plants. But all of the roses are in. I added some of the new salvia in here, the deep purple improved, so that'll bring in even more pollinators, and then the truffle of pink gumfrena, just to bring in a little bit of different texture and color, and again, more pollinators. You can see that I have 3 obelisks in this flower bed because Proven Winners has a new series. It's called the Rise Up series. And in the Rise Up, you can have them either as a climbing rose, and this is Rise Up Amberness, and look at that, y'all. Look how beautiful that really rich, kind of an apricot color. It is gorgeous, so it is opening up. So the Rise Up, like I said, can either be a climbing rose, or I have 2 more in front of them that can be more like a shrub rose. So I wanted to give you both options. So we have, of each of the roses, basically we have 3 doing really well. And then this is Lemon Zest. Lemon Zest is that great landscape rose. But you can see as we go through here, when I was putting them in, because they had already had their first spring flush of flowers, so I did do a lot of trimming and deadheading on them because roses bloom on new growth. I had to clean them up a little bit, and so they will flush out with new blooms very soon. So each of the obelisks is part of the Rise Up series, and then all of the other ones, there's the Reminiscence and the At Last, and you know, lots of fun roses in here. But I just wanted to give you an update on and let you know that they have been planted and they are in the ground. I'm going to get labels on them today. So if you're coming to the nursery, feel free to come on over here and check out the rose garden. We are also, as soon as we finish filming this morning, we are going to go ahead and get annuals and perennials in these beds. That way they will be done. I did get a couple of things added in here. I have 3 new hibiscus, perennial hibiscus that we added. So they are in here, as well as a new iris that will be coming out. This is Ming's Treasure, and it will get huge. This is from Walter's Gardens. It'll get like 4 feet tall, 4 feet wide, deep purple blooms on it. So really exciting new iris. Again, it'll get huge. I'm hoping that I didn't plant it in the wrong spot. I think it will be fun to see the wind sculpture kind of coming out of Ming's Treasure. We'll see. But I'm going to plant all of the trial perennials and the annuals in here. So basically these beds are just going to be filled with flowers. So when you come to the nursery, come on over. It's just right here beside the shrub lot. Walk on over. Everybody's going to have a name tag on it, so you'll know what they are and you can see them and just have fun looking. Speaking of the shrub lot, let's mosey on over here, because now that it is June, happy June everybody, all those really warm weather plants are getting ready, those shrubs are really getting ready to explode. My incredible hydrangeas at the house are just popping in color. And if you look at these, they too they're a little bit behind mine, but that actually works for you. They are covered in buds, so lots of blooms. Remember, incredibles are a fantastic hydrangea. They can do full sun. Mine gets sun up to sundown. Big, huge, classic white mop head blooms. They are color specific. That means that no matter what kind of soil you will have those creamy white blooms. A wonderful, wonderful shrub. They are like 4 to 5 feet tall and wide, and they're very adaptable in all the different regions. I don't know the specific growing zones off the top of my head, but very, very adaptable. If you're looking for panicle hydrangeas that will turn, yes, the white, creamy white to a lime green, limelight prime. I know a lot of people don't have room for limelights because they can get really big. Limelight prime is a really great option because it only gets to be about that 5-ish foot tall, and it's more narrow than it is, it's taller than it is wide. So it's more of a narrow hydrangea. So it's really good for kind of tight spaces. Still gives you those same gorgeous blooms though. Here in the South, one of our iconic trees is the Magnolia. And so this is a little gem magnolia. We have a little gem in our house in the new patio area. You can tell, obviously, older blooms, new buds. There's a couple of fresh ones that are getting ready to open up over here, but they have just this classic lemony, fresh scent to them. In fact, I was in the garden at the house and I was like, what is that smell? It was the Magnolia. It's just gorgeous. And then the honeybees, I think there's a honeybee all over them. Beautiful flowers. Little gems are better for your smaller spaces. They're not gonna be as like the huge traditional ones. I think it's like, what, 12 feet tall, not nearly as wide, 6 to 8 feet wide. So those are great options. Rebus, if you watched our video earlier this week where I was planting at the gate, I planted an Reba. In that video, I misspoke and I said that they're color specific. They're not color specific. They're pH dependent. So what that means is that the color will be based on your soil's pH. Here in the pots, they're all pink, but once they get established in our acidic soil, they will turn that blue, purple, but a nice petite one. It really can do sun to part shade. We have found with this Let's Dance series, because it is that reblooming hydrangea, if you can give it a little break from the afternoon sun, it tends to do just a little bit better. But it's great because it's only 2 to 3 feet tall and wide, and it's hardy in zones 4 to 9. So extremely adaptable, tons of different areas that it can grow in, doing really well. And then we have Tough Stuff. Tough Stuff is a really fun, a totally different hydrangea. This is called a lace cap. And lace caps are just a fun, different bloom. So they have their wider flower buds on the outside, and this is just starting to open up. And then on the inside, those will open up and be little small flowers. So it really is that lacy effect to them. Tough Stuff is great for you folks who maybe have a little bit more shade and you need a little bit of help. I know my mama who lives underneath the pines, like she has tons of pine trees. Her son's really kind of odd, and this has been a winner for her. Fantastic, hardy in zones 5 to 9, and again, only 2 to 3 feet tall and wide. So it definitely gets nice and wide. Somebody's getting ready to bloom here. Ooh, quick fire fab. Jerry knows the locations of them better. Look at all these buds. Again, another panicle. So quick fire fab, your panicles love the sun, that they have to have the sun in order to bloom. So quick fire fab is part of that wonderful quick fire family. It is going to bloom earlier, nice, really kind of that rich pink color, hardy in zones 3 to 8, 6 to 8 tall, 5 to 6 wide. So it's a little bit kind of equivalent to the Limelight Prime as far as that goes in size and kind of, you know, that medium size. I say like the Quick Fire and the Limelights are the daddies. These are the teenagers, and then the little ones are the babies. That just makes sense in my brain. But anyway, so hydrangeas, we are coming into hydrangea season. So if you want to add hydrangeas to your garden, like the standards, Limelight standards, these are fantastic for a large pot, just like we have here at the nursery. A large pot, a flower bed as an accent plant, because you can come under and plant all sorts of fun things underneath it. Really fun if you want to put something on this, like the corner of your house, but you don't want a huge like tree. These are great options for you. And butterfly bushes. Butterfly bushes are, again, 'tis the season. We are coming into them. The Pugster series is a nice petite, short, great for small spaces. This is the just Pugster pink, nice soft baby doll pink color on it. And then if you need something a little bit bigger, then we have the Miss series. This is Miss Pearl, and Miss Pearl is just a coarse, beautiful creamy white, average around that 4 to 5 tall. let me get out of the way there, 4 to 5 feet tall, beautiful white. Of course, the butterfly bushes are continuous bloomers, so they will bloom from now until, for us, it'll be like November. And the butterflies, your pollinators of all shapes and sizes, go nuts over these things. So if you're looking to attract pollinators to your garden, this is a wonderful, easy way to do it, because like Japanese beetles don't like them. They're really easy, they're no fuss, they hate to be overwatered. It's like you kind of plant it, get them established, and then forget about them. It's the kind of plant that I love. All right, let's move on up to the water trough, because I want to give you an update on how this baby is doing. We only planted this, gosh, 2 weeks ago. And so of course, remember, the sun is just coming up. So this is just starting to get some sun on it. Things are filling out really nicely. You'll notice that the portulaca is closed. Portulaca opens and closes with the sun. So right now they are closed. The upside sweet potato vine is climbing. I have to keep coming in here and kind of helping it along just a little bit. So there we go. And then the lime, so the lime is both going, in the back it's going up, and here I think it'll go more spill. Again, these are trial plants. I am testing them. These will be the new introductions next year from Proven Winners 2023. So we're just kind of testing them to see how they do here. Lots of fun. Y'all loved this watermelon coleus as much as Jerry does. Really, really fun. Everything's doing great, filling in. And of course, we'll just keep her watered, keep her fertilized, and just let her go. Now, another thing, another great plant that's really a fantastic, low maintenance, big, huge showstopper, lantana. Lantana depends on where you live, if it's an annual or a perennial. So it's all dependent on where you at. And so it is, loves the hot sun, loves it really hot. So if you're in even maybe a 7B or higher, it could be a perennial for you. We sell it as an annual. So we have got, like, the berry blend has the pink and the yellow and the orange. Fantastic. Citron is the new one this year. This is what we planted in mass at behind our house. Beautiful, soft yellow, gorgeous. We've got marmalade, which is a deep Clemson orange. Fantastic. Red zone, which is a red. So kind of lots of different colors for you. Now, come on in here, because we have got caladiums. And the caladiums are a wonderful hot weather annual. Unless you live like in, I don't know, South Florida. I mean, like really hot. These are going to be annuals because they love it hot. This is one of the few plants that thrives in the heat and the humidity of the summertime. It is not too late. It will go from now all the way through, late summer into the fall. Mine last year, I had them in hanging baskets, I had them in containers, I had them in the landscape. They lasted until a freeze. And that's how long they lasted. Gorgeous color. I mean, if you just look at these, you do not have to have flowers to have a major impact in the garden. These colors are fantastic. This is the bottle rocket that I planted at the gate. A lot of these varieties will do sun or shade, but some of them are gonna be just shade. Like this is lemon blush. Oh, this will be going in containers over there at the Pines. It is spectacular. Fast Flash is one of my favorite ones because it is it's a fancy caladium. It can do that sun, beautiful pink with a little specks of it's got red with flecks of pink and green, and then Splash of Wine. This is going to be another more shade one, but as these change, as they mature, they will change color. So folks, you need to get, if you're in the South, if you're in a space really that is humid and it's hot, right? So that's a lot of part of the country when, in these kinds of months, right? We're hot and we're humid. These things are fantastic, huge, gorgeous, massive leaves on them that bring lots of color, and so stinking easy. You put them in the ground and you leave them alone. Bugs don't like them. I mean, yeah, you want to fertilize them every once in a while when you think about it, but it's not like the most important thing in the world that you have to be on a regimen of fertilizing them. Get your caladiums, people. They're fantastic. And you can see we've got the impatiens. These are sun impatiens. We've got the compact white, the compact purple. This is the same purple that we used in the big, huge entrance beds. Those are fantastic. I will also say, along kind of with the caladium route, we also still have a good bit of coleus. And coleus, I'm telling you, is like caladiums. Massive impact with loads of color, not necessarily flowers. And if you pair coleus with caladiums, it is the easiest landscape container, whatever you want, however you want to use it, because your coleus is going to be taller than your caladiums. So you can put the coleus in the back, caladiums in the front, huge color impact, fantastic. And I would dare say, even go ahead and start thinking about, I know it's crazy, but start thinking about maybe something for fall, because these colors will transition into fall really well. So you could keep your coleus, and then if you wanted to switch out and put some mums with it, or some pansies or violas, a lot of these are really great colors for both summer and fall, and they are sun to shade tolerant. So that means you can put them really in any kind of sun condition, and they will do really, really well. You will get a little bit of a color difference if it's in full sun versus full shade, but they're still amazing plants. All right, moving on over. I love this. Like, this is Radiance. Look at Radiance. Radiance is a little bit more pink. Like, I just want to plant them everywhere, because they're just in mass, they are gorgeous, absolutely stunning, as are the Dahlias. So we've talked about tequila before. I love this color. It is that kind of that creamy yellow with a little bit of peach and orange in it. Beautiful, absolutely stunning. A bunch of y'all, speaking about dahlias, a bunch of y'all have been asking if I got my dahlia tubers from Laura of Garden Answer, and I did. She was, oh my gosh, so generous in what she sent me. They got planted, so they are in the ground. I will be doing that video. I filmed it. It will be coming out in the next couple of days, so y'all just settle down. The tubers are in the ground. She sent me, I think it was 31 different varieties. Some of them I only got maybe one of them, and some of them I got like 10 to 15. So it is really fun. They're in the ground, they're growing. Fingers crossed that they do spectacular, which I know they will. We still have loads of color. It is not too late to go ahead and with petunias, I'm telling you, my favorite petunia this year, Mini Vista White. It's so, you can just use it for so many different reasons. It's just in applications, it is fantastic. Now, a bunch of y'all are huge fans and lovers of the summerific hibiscus, just like I am. These are perennial hibiscus, so they will come back year after year after year, and they have the huge dinner plate blooms on them. This is Holy Grail. Holy Grail, as you can see, has beautiful, almost black foliage on it, and then it will do massive red flowers, just fantastic. Extremely cold hardy, especially here in the South. You do not need to worry about it not surviving our winters, and because it is cold hardy in zones 4 to 9. The summerifics will come obviously in lots of different colors and different sizes. Some of them are taller, some of them are shorter and wider. So just depending on what color you want and the space you have, then there is a hibiscus for you. I highly encourage you to look at these, because they are just wonderful plants that just do amazingly well, really in any kind of growing condition, whether it's the south or the north or the west or the east, it doesn't really matter. Update on the aqua pots. So they're growing, they're doing good. Jazzberry is loving life, as you can see. I might have to get in here and do a little selective pruning back here in the back so that my sun patients will have room to get some light in there to grow up. That's the thing with containers. Sometimes you have to get in there and do a little maintenance with them, right? That's the fun of gardening, is getting in here. The purple queen is doing really well. You can see that it is spreading. Prince Tut, of course, is doing great. So all the aqua pots, very happy, very full, very nice. Lots and lots of fun. Yeah, it's just growing and loving life, and there you go. All right, let's see what else, other fun things we can get into. Oh my goodness, y'all, Shasta daisies. Come over here because we need to talk some daisies right quick. The amazing daisies from Proven Winners is perhaps one of my favorite flowering perennials because they are so easy. First of all, they're beautiful in mass. This is Banana Cream 2. I love Banana Cream because when it first starts, it's a very soft, buttery yellow. As the flowers mature, they will lighten in color. So on the same plant, you can get different shades of yellow, and then eventually it will turn white. So it looks like a banana cream pie. These, of course, are full sun plants. They hate to have sit in wet feet. I learned that the hard way. I accidentally killed a couple of them because it was too wet. It was a new bed and I didn't know, so now I know. But they're hardy in zones 5 to 9, full sun. They're going to be about, they kind of range in size, but about that 2-foot mark. So you have banana cream, and then over here, this is Daisy May. And Daisy May is just that beautiful, classic white daisy, right? So I have this planted in groups of 3 behind, well, right there at the patio. They are currently in full bloom and huge. It is like this massive blanket carpet of these gorgeous white blooms. They make great cut flowers. I cut some and made a vase and brought them in. So they are doing well. So this is Daisy May, your classic one. You can kind of get an idea, like when you see them in mass right here. You can have that in your yard. Like I said, I have 3 plants. I spaced them about a foot apart from each other, and they have just grown together in a nice, big, huge carpet of pink. So if you want to be a little funky, because who doesn't like to be, yeah, we all like to be a little funky. There is spun silk. Now you see how big that bloom is. It's huge. Very kind of fine filigree foliage on it. Really fun. It's going to be a little bit taller, right at that 2-foot mark. And then you got Marshmallow. Look at Marshmallow. Really fine, like fluffy, full bloom on it. Of course, all of these are part of that Amazing Daisy series. Lots of sun. They love it sun. Once they're established, they're pretty drought tolerant. But yeah, so easy, wonderful plant. Here we go. We want to go across the bridge. Water trough is doing great. The osteos are still hanging in there really well. I didn't know with the heat how they would do. Clearly, the 2, this is the new deep purple for next year's salvia, doing great, nice and compact. In the past, deep purple would be kind of wild and woolly and kind of all over the place. You can see how nice and full and tight this is. It's not spindly at all. So far, man, it is doing great, doing beautiful. Let's go over here and see what we've got. Of course, the hostas are just loving life right now. Coleus, remember, for your shade garden. If you have a shade garden and you're like, I just don't have any color in my garden, use that coleus. Put those in there for pops of color. You see the Newly Noir next to like lime thyme, or the Newly Noir next to a euchre. Beautiful. If you have something, you know, dark and you need a contrast, then that lime thyme is wonderful. If you need a perennial, then you cannot go wrong with Ariella Sun King. This is a spikenard. I have some and they're huge and they're beautiful. A great, easy, low maintenance perennial that is definitely for the shade. We've got all the ferns. Lady in Red is doing well. We still have some of that gold heart, bleeding heart. And then this is a really fun annual. Believe it or not, this is a begonia. So this is Pegasus begonia. And this is one of my favorite shade annuals to use in landscape, containers, hay racks, all sorts of things. This is not Jerry's favorite plant because it likes it really hot, and it will just sit in the greenhouse for forever before it does anything. And he's like, oh, this plant's taking up room and it's not doing anything. But I'm like, honey, look at this. This is gorgeous. You just have to be patient. And I have customers that have a lot of shade, and once they plant these, they love them and they come back year after year because, again, low maintenance, easy, really fun, funky texture. You can pair it with all sorts of things in your shade garden, and it's really fun. It is an annual because it is a begonia, but it'll get about 18 inches tall and nice and wide. So really fun. If you've got that shade, we've got all sorts of fun things for you. I want to show you one other thing. Grasses. So perennial grasses for the shade, because sometimes that can be tricky. Of course, we have tons of perennial grasses for the sun, but when you are looking in the shade, sometimes it can be a little tricky. So this is Feather Falls, and Feather Falls is a really fun new one for us, not new to the market, but it is a carex and it is hardy in zones 5 to 9. This is a trailing grass. This is one that Kata from Walter's Gardens encouraged us to try. It has beautiful foliage on it, and you can tell from its habit already that it has that weeping, trailing effect. I have them in containers right now. Kata said they make absolutely gorgeous hanging baskets, which that would be really fun to try. Hanging baskets in the shade of this perennial grass. So again, yeah, by itself. I mean, of course you can use it. So Jerry asked if you would put it by itself. You can put it by itself, but if you wanted to do a mixed basket, you certainly could. But just as opposed to doing like a Boston fern or something like that, you could do just this by itself. But look how that pops with this euchera, right? So when you're in your garden, whether it's the sun or the shade, you want to find and pair plants that have contrasting colors. Because if we were to put Newly Noir coleus right beside of this euchera, it all blends together. But when you bring in contrasting colors, they make each plant stand out. And that's a secret, especially in a shade garden, is you want that contrast beside each other so that the plants pop. And then another great perennial grass for the shade is the Evercolor. This is the Everillo, the Japanese sedge. It is, again, another carex, hardy in zones 5 to 9, but it is going to be a part shade. Again, nice lime chartreuse kind of color, fantastic. It will get to be only like 12 inches tall, but 2 feet wide. So lots of fun color in there. And again, if you pair that with a dark plant, boom, all sorts of funness. Hostas galore. If you need some hostas, we got hostas, all sorts of beautiful things. But again, it is not too late to plant. I know it's been warm. We've been consistently in the 90s. I have been outside all this week in the morning. I garden in the morning and then I come in just because it gets so warm. But you absolutely can still be planting. We're planting our little hearts out around here. So get out there, find something fun, add it to your garden. It's fantastic. As always, thanks so much for gardening with Creekside. Y'all have a fantastic day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.